Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm your host, Binary Mouse, and we have another truly fantastic story to share with you. Our special guest storyteller will carry us beyond the edge of our imagination into a digital fantasy land built especially for you. Watch, listen, and enjoy!
The Serpent's Revenge. Bien now, Yetsoge. Long, long ago, a woodcutter once wandered into a forest unknown and strange to him. As he tried to find his way out, he suddenly heard the cry of a bird, a cry full of terror, of fright. The kind woodcutter ran toward the sound and found a mother pheasant trying desperately to scare away a large white snake. The snake was slithering up a tree, moving steadily toward a nest of little birds. Again and again, the pheasant swooped down toward the snake, trying to drive her off. But the snake was not stopped by a mere bird. She just kept sliding closer and closer to the nest. "Stop!" shouted the woodcutter, waving a stick. Yet the snake did not even pause. "Go away!" he cried. But the snake kept climbing and climbing, and was now so close that she drew back, preparing to strike. Then suddenly the man hit the snake hard on its head. She fell dead to the ground. The mother bird swooped down to comfort her young. Her cries were of joy and relief as she stroked and soothed them. The woodcutter watched, pleased that he could help. Then he walked on, and the day passed, and the week, the month. Soon, several years had gone by, and he forgot all about the birds. One night, he found himself again in that unknown part of the woods. It was dark and late. He was lost. He searched round for a place to shelter, and finally found a warm light coming from a little hut. He knocked, and a pale woman, whiter than the moon, opened the door, saying softly, "Annyeonghaseyo." "Excuse me," he begged, "but I am lost and need rest. Might I stay the night in a corner of your home?" "Please come in," she invited. He sat down, and she served him kimchi and rice on a low table. As he ate, he marveled at her grace and fine speech. He wondered what she was doing alone in the woods. He was about to ask when a great weariness overcame him, and he sank upon the floor, his eyes closed. Hours later, he awoke to find that he could not move his arms. They were pressed tightly against his side, as if they were held. And he felt something wet sliding back and forth across his cheek. Then he looked down and saw, a huge white snake coiled all around him. "Who are you?" he asked. "You do not know me?" hissed the snake. "I am the spirit of the snake you killed some time ago. I have been waiting and waiting for you to kill you." The woodcutter suddenly remembered the mother pheasant. But you were trying to kill tiny babies, he cried. And I gave you a chance, a warning. Give me the same. Ah, I'm warning you now. You will be killed. Are you ready? Oh, not now. Please. First, let me go home and bid farewell to my family. Then I'll return, he promised. No, I can wait no longer. But the woodcutter kept on pleading and begging until at last the snake said, All right, I shall give you a chance. At the top of this mountain is a bell near an old temple. If that bell rings before dawn, I will spare your life. The woodcutter had never been to the temple. It was dark. He was tired. Yet he had to try. He started to stand up, but the snake's coils only squeezed him more tightly. No, she said. You don't understand. The bell must ring while you stay here. Well, that was impossible. The woodcutter knew now that he would die. He said his prayers and prepared for the next world. It was a long and awful night as the snake slithered all over him, licking his cheek as if very, very hungry. At last, the light of dawn crept under the door, and the snake raised itself about to strike. Then suddenly, dong, ba-dong, a bell sounded. The snake gave a hiss of rage and then slipped out the door, furious, robbed of her revenge. For some time, the woodcutter did not move, still full of fear. But when after a while the snake had not returned, he tried to move his arms and then slowly stood up, thinking, perhaps I dreamt it all. Perhaps there was no snake. There is only one way to know, he decided. I must find the bell and see for myself. So he stumbled up the mountain in the morning light, seeking the temple. Pushing through thorns and brush, he finally found it, and near it, a big bronze bell. But the place was deserted, overgrown with weeds. A large log hung next to the bell, ready to strike it and make it sing. But on that old wood, he saw only dead worms, tired leaves. It had not been touched for many years. Then what hit the bell? What made it ring, he wondered. Slowly, his eyes fell to the side of the bell, and he saw blood. He looked down and saw bits of feather. And then he saw the broken body of a bird, and recognized the mother pheasant. He knelt down beside the bird. His tears wrapped round her body as he thanked her again and again for giving her life to save his. But there was no answer in that blood-red dawn. There was only the silence of the old temple and the stillness of that warm heart.
Christmas Eve, Santa came. door.